All right, we're here. We did it.
Hooray.
Yay.
I am here. Hey.
Hi.
We're here in
Hey.
Canada.
Yeah, so my connection better be extra good. I'm assuming that's how that works.
No, I don't
Yep.
think that's how that works. I don't think it is
It's
at all.
definitely not how it works. My mom's internet is real bad. I'm talking like 15 down, less than 1 up.
Nice.
Wow.
The classic.
Yeah.
The classic.
Well, I mean, the only thing she does is like send emails and watch Netflix, so she doesn't need good internet, but
Makes
working
sense.
from home is a challenge here, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
But yeah, no, I'm up in Calgary. I'm at my mom's place. People might even recognize this room as where this podcast started because I'm in the basement.
Yeah. I definitely recognize that now that I actually have the camera up and can see it.
Yep, this green couch and yellow walls, classic.
I'm laughing because earlier before we went live, I joined the call and then like didn't even look at the windows, and I was just like, "Oh hey Sean, like I don't know if Paul told you, it's like minus like 24 up here right now." He's like, "I am here."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've been here since Friday. We were in Jasper National Park all weekend doing stuff like ice climbing up a frozen waterfall.
Oh, that sounds badass.
It was, I mean, it wasn't a huge waterfall, but like, I would say it was probably about the size of like a rock climbing gym's wall. But that was pretty cool. We wore these like special boots that had literal knives sticking out of them. So you would like kick your foot into the wall so you could like stand against the wall. And then you had 2 pickaxes. You would climb your way up. That was a lot of fun.
That sounds insane. Oh my god.
It was very cool. What else we did? We did some snowshoeing. We did like a frozen river walk where you kind of like do a hike down to the bottom of a canyon where a river normally is, but it's all frozen and you kind of like walk along it. So that was a pretty cool hike. Yeah,
I assume they knew like the ice was like thick enough that they could walk on it, because like that's what we used to do back home, was like we would just go out on the bay and just walk on that. But if it was too warm, like it would crack and you'd go through.
Yeah, no, they definitely like knew it was gonna be cold enough, and the guide even brought like their own little pickaxe to like test sections. But there was also just places where it's like, no, we're just gonna go to the water, and they gave us special boots to be able to not get too cold.
Oh, that's cool.
They also brought along their dog, this cute little dog named Suka, most well-behaved dog I had ever seen. It had a little jacket on. It did not want to walk through the water. That was the one thing that it was like, I don't want to do this. Don't make me do this. But yeah, pretty good time in Jasper. We were supposed to go. We had booked an observatory visit because there was a meteor shower while we were there. Jasper National Park is an international dark park, meaning they have limitations on how much light the town is allowed to produce so that it stays really dark at night and it doesn't create light pollution. So it would have been perfect for the meteor shower. The day we went to the observatory, it was cloudy.
Of course.
Ooh.
So we didn't get to see anything. It was also freezing cold, so we kind of left early. So that was a bummer, but what can you do? Well, what about you? What has your guys' I guess last 2 weeks been?
I mean, I work full time. That's my life. Nothing.
Okay, John.
A bunch of personal stuff, doctor's appointments. Got my glasses done, so I'm getting new pairs in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Cool.
Haven't had my glasses checked in apparently 8.5 years. My eyes checked rather. So,
Oh,
and
wow.
apparently my prescription has barely changed to a point where they said I probably could have just kept my original pair.
Okay.
Interesting.
Were
Okay.
you glad to hear that, or bummed that you weren't going to start seeing better?
Oh, she actually said my eyes did get a tiny bit better.
Huh. Interesting.
But she said like we're like if you're seeing roughly the exact same stuff, like a bunch of things that I didn't see any change, like we'll err on the lower side in case there's actually an issue or if you need help reading. So just enough of a change, and I needed new glasses anyways because I have a metal allergy, and these are rusting. So
Okay. Cool. Are they drastically different?
I wouldn't say drastically different. They're basically the same style, but they're going to be plastic lenses, and they're plastic rather legs and arms, so they're going to be a little longer. And I think a little thicker on the top there. The main one you'll probably see me wearing is like full around again, instead of like the half and half like these are. And then I've got prescription sunglasses, which I haven't had in a long time because I used to have like clip-ons and stuff like that instead.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool. I will say, John, I had some of your classic bad flight travels on my way up
Ooh.
here. It was an actual nightmare, and my flight home is already starting to get screwed up, so it's not over yet.
Nice. Well, welcome to my world. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Yeah, that it took so much longer getting home than it should have. COVID didn't help. In fact, one of the things, so like what happened is the first flight got delayed, and the airline was like, "Hey, so you're gonna miss your connecting flight, but we'll get you on a flight a couple hours later." Because when you travel, you need to have like a COVID test done 72 hours beforehand to
Yeah.
negative. That 72-hour period expired before that new flight they gave us started, meaning we're not allowed on that flight.
Oh
We
my
have
God.
to test it again.
Oh, Jesus.
And getting like the rapid, like, because we needed to get a test that would give us like a really quick turnaround at the airport. It's like $250 a person.
Holy
Gross.
shit. Wow.
And that's not even the half of it. I don't need to go through the whole thing, but like, coming up on Friday was an actual nightmare. Like, I was so jazzed to be like, finally, my vacation is starting, because I had like a really like busy week, and it was just like the worst day.
Sorry, dude. That sucks.
Yeah.
It does suck. Yeah. So, and like I said, my flight's back at the beginning of January are already getting pushed around and messed up, and I've corrected everything, and I'm just praying nothing else gets messed up.
Man, I am kind of glad that we changed our plans and we're not doing MagFest this year because it sounds like we would be going through a nightmare.
I gotta say, I think part of it is also like with Omicron happening like right when I was doing my travels. That couldn't have helped.
No, I'm sure I didn't at all.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's do the show because we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. It's been a few weeks. This is the Top Down Perspective for December 16th. Just over a week until Christmas. You guys excited for Christmas? John, you got the sweater.
I mean, I still got to do a little bit of shopping, so not the most jazzed.
What about you, Paul? You excited for Christmas festivities?
Sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't get too excited now. We got a podcast to do, so I want you to save some of that enthusiasm for the rest of the show.
Done.
I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
I'm John Wheeler.
And John, you've been gone the longest, and you played the most. So let's hear from you.
Gone for 3 weeks because we didn't do one last week. I missed the week before, and
It's 3.
Yeah, there you go. So I got a big list because obviously 3 weeks. I played a lot of small games along the time there. Kirby Star Stacker for the Game Boy, puzzle game where you have to match up the little Kirby animals. So you got Rick, Kine, and Koo, the bird, the hamster, and Rick, Kine, Koo, and the fish. So you got a bunch of stars that you have to clear out per stage, but you have to also like pair them up between the two characters. And it just gets like annoyingly complicated by the end. Like it starts off really easy. It's like, oh, if you chain these, you get extra stars and you can make all these combos and stuff. And then by the end, it just becomes this brutal slog of like, okay, if the RNG on this board gives you this piece, you immediately lose. So you have to try again.
Great.
It just like, no, just the ending of the game was just pure randomness. It's like, okay, you have a room. So the screen is like 6 by 10. So 6 wide, 10 height. And some of the puzzles at the end are like, you have 5 empty spaces total you can move in. If you get this character at all, you cannot do anything.
Is this game good?
It is. It's actually really good. But by the end, it's just like, okay, reset. Okay, now I can do a run.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that was fun. Apparently, it has like a Super Famicom Satellaview sequel, but that was like a rare game that people only found like the past year or so.
It's
Steel Assault.
super.
Yeah,
If it's Super Famicom, does that mean this is a port of like a Famicom game?
this was first.
The Game Boy Color and the Famicom out at the same, and sorry, and the Super Famicom
No,
out at the same time?
no. The Game Boy Color, so the Game Boy version of the game was first.
Okay.
Because this is from 97, I think, 96, 97.
Okay.
And the Famicom Satellaview was getting stuff till about 98.
Okay.
And that just reminded me, I missed another one that I actually played as well. Right after that, Kirby's Block Ball for the Game Boy. You can tell I was just on a Game Boy trend for a bit here.
Speaking of Game Boy, did you get an analog pocket pre-order?
Yes, I did. I don't know what group I'm in though, because they don't tell you that for 3 or 4 days for some weird reason. So I'm just stuck here waiting.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, everyone is probably not seeing that thing for a whole year with how everything's going.
I think what were the estimated times where Group A is first quarter of next year, Group B is third quarter of next year, and Group C is 2023. But
So
you can
just
still go to
laughing.
the site and pre-order it now. You're guaranteed Group C. Like it straight up says, yeah, you're not getting this till 2023.
That is so far in advance. That's like,
I mean,
it's
it's
like
reviewing really well. Everyone's praising it, and so
I cut our like review video for it at, last week, and it's a nice looking piece of hardware.
yeah, I'm excited to get mine. It just sucks I gotta wait like half a year.
Yep.
Hopefully just that, I should say. Hopefully just half a year. Kirby's Block Ball. It is Kirby, but it's also Arkanoid or Breakout, whatever you want to call it. You have to break all these different bricks by bouncing Kirby around. It's
Oh yeah.
okay. There's like a bunch of different stages you have to go through, and you can get a high score on each stage, which unlocks extra features. But the problem is, Kirby's really annoying to bounce in certain directions, which is the same issue I always have in these Arkanoid style games. So it just kind of gets repetitive after a while because you can't make him hit one block, so you're just stuck waiting like, all right, bounce around, I'll try again. But at least there's paddles usually on the sides and the ceiling as well to try to actually like speed things up.
That's the
And you
nice
get
thing about Shatter is you get like a shatter, so you can just like shoot if you need to at some point.
Yeah.
no, Shatter definitely does that really well. Definitely better than Block Ball, but Block Ball's all right. I'll jump ahead a bit because I also played through Steel Assault on the Switch. Not a Game Boy game for once, but it is a retro-inspired game. This is a kind of a cool beat 'em up where you're just like a dude who has like a wire that he can kind of shoot between him to climb walls and stuff like that. It's like a weird mix of Bionic Commando and Shatterhand. It plays really well. Like you have like a whip is your main weapon, and then you can also use it to as a grappling hook to kind of just hook in any direction, but you have to connect with two surfaces. If you remember like in Batman Arkham City, that weird grappling gun that has to connect to two walls and then you slide forward. It's just that as a 2D game mechanic.
Like a zip line.
Yeah, a zip line, like it's a two-way zip line. It has to connect to two walls.
Okay.
So it's neat, but man, is it brutal. Like I just for some reason you have a health bar of like 10 pips, but I played on normal and every hit was 2. So basically you had 5 hit points essentially, and the final boss was just this brutal thing to get through. It was just really rough. By the end of the fight, there's no floor you can touch, and you have to still fight an enemy who is just standing on the floor. So like the ending was just really mean. But if you love retro arcade style games, like that's hella fun. If you don't mind getting a bit frustrated. I hate the fact that there is an arcade mode in the game though, which is beat the entire game in one continue. That's it. If you game over, that's it. You have to start the entire game over, and that game is not easy. So, good luck to anyone who beats that on that difficulty.
Sure. Yep.
I also played Wallachia: Reign of Dracula. This is a weird game where you're a girl with like a bow and arrow, and you can rapid fire it. There's like a bunch of monsters you fight, zombies. It's pseudo Castlevania inspired. It's going through actually defeating Count Dracula. and talking about how like all the things that made him look like a monster were like this gas that they had access to. So it was an interesting like take on it. It might be more authentic than anything, but still like a weird, interesting arcade style game too. Contra like, but with a bow and arrow instead of a machine gun. Honestly, it was a lot of fun too, and it was well voice acted. I think a bunch of well-known voice actors were actually involved with the game too, like Christina V. So or maybe Kira Buckland, I forget which.
It's
But either
Kira
way, like
Buckland.
yeah, decent
I
game,
don't
fun
recognize
thing.
either of those names.
You've definitely played or heard Kira Buckland in something. 2B,
Yeah,
I mean,
Ki-
in Automata.
2B is probably
one.
her best known role currently.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other one, Christina V.
Christina V is Shantae's voice actress, and she's
Okay,
also done a bunch
cool.
of other stuff. Pretty much anything Way Forward's done, she's been in.
Quick
They also
aside, because you mentioned Dracula. Paul, did you ever watch the final season of Castlevania?
I didn't finish it. I started it.
I have like one episode left. That second last episode is probably the coolest fight scenes in the entire series.
Cool. Something to look forward to.
It was so good. Like I was the whole time. It's just like, hey, we need to do a really big battle right now. And some of the coolest stuff. They're basically like, you know what? We haven't showed Alucard doing like all of his abilities from the game. Let's do that in this episode. So
Okay.
cool.
All right. Cool.
Where was I? After that, Spirit Sphere DX. This is basically also kind of Pong-ish. So it's like versus Pong. If you remember Sanrio World Smash Ball, that game where you had Hello Kitty characters like knocking around a frisbee, like Giant Bomb used to play it a bunch. It's like plays like that.
Okay.
Problem is
Like a
though,
Windjammers kind of.
pseudo windjammers where you have to hit the ball or frisbee instead of actually like catching it and throwing it around. You have a charge shot, you have a regular shot, and you can move around the arena. There's items you can get, etc. It was okay. There was a bunch of gimmick balls in story mode that they could give you sometimes, which just made the game unbearable. And some of the gimmicks on the stages were a little rude, but it was okay for what it is. I don't even think it's that expensive right now. So if you like that kind of gameplay, it's cool.
Cool.
Sorry, did you
Uh,
say what platform it's on?
that I played it on Switch specifically, but I think it is also on Steam.
No.
I'm gonna jump ahead on the list here a bit because I've been doing a bunch of Switch stuff here. Spectacular Sparky, done by the guy who made the Angry Video Game Nerd video games and Manos: The Hands of Fate, a bunch of other games like that. This is a Genesis-inspired run and gun. That's very much like treasure-style games where you have a bunch of bosses you have to fight. You got a character who can float a little bit, and he's got a bunch of different gun types he can pick up. It's fully voice acted. It's actually pretty well written. It's actually pretty fun. I was playing it for quite a while, but I stopped because I eventually finally moved all my games over from my original Switch model to my OLED. And that took a while to do. So basically, after all the Switch games I played, there hasn't been any Switch gaming for weeks because it just took forever to get everything re-downloaded.
Sure.
I used
Zero
my
Gun.
Switch transfer to not download games I wasn't playing anymore and cleaned it all up.
I tried to make it in a way that if I wanted to go back to the other one for any reason, in case like I lost the other one or that, I didn't have to do any annoying transfers. Like it was still set up, and that was a mistake.
I didn't think you really could have two Switches because well, I guess it
You can.
asks you, are you planning to use the previous one? And I say no every time.
Yeah, you can. It's just what happens as a result is the other one can only access the games if it has an internet connection.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Yeah, so it's not terrible, but yeah, you can have multiple Switches now. The downside was that I tried moving my memory card over and it demanded I delete it and reformat it, so I had to re-download a terabyte's worth of games, which sucked.
Yeah, no, I had to do that too. So can you do the thing where it's like I have my home Switch and then I have like a Switch Lite in my backpack?
Yeah, exactly.
But you would have to make the home Switch the old one, right? Because that one is going to be connected to the internet at all times.
Whichever one you want to play games on when it's not connected to the internet has to be your primary Switch. Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will check every time you load a game.
You just pick the Switch up out of the dock and take it on the go.
Yeah. Zero Gunner 2 arcade game. That's just a top-down shooter, but you have whenever you fire, you lock into position in front of you, and you can rotate around it. It's a little odd to control. So if you're
Okay.
moving straight up and then you hold the fire button, if you move left or right, you strafe around a position that was in front of you where your shots were going, and you can rotate around it. So the main mechanic is like moving based on that to have your turning. So it's like a twin stick shooter without a second stick, which makes it really awkward.
Is
But
it like
like
the Contra
Metroid.
top-down sections?
not like Contras, no.
Okay.
Because yeah, like imagine if like your bullets went 5 spaces in front of you, but then as you're firing the whole like fire button, you start rotating around that if you move around it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you don't strafe as much as
Yeah.
you circle around the spot where your shots are going.
Interesting. Okay.
So that was a cool arcade game to play, but it had limited continues, so I just didn't want to put the time into trying to beat it because I was trying to beat a bunch of games to make a dent in the backlog.
Sure.
Which is why the next bunch of games are all Bomberman games, because I got in a big Bomberman mood to a point where I
you
forgot
keep adding
2 that I
Bomberman
beat.
games to the list.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 games I literally forgot
Okay.
that I beat. This is what happens when I'm gone for a couple weeks. Like I actually have time to do things.
Mhm.
So in the past 3 weeks alone, I have beaten Bomberman 1 on NES, Bomberman 2 on NES, Super Bomberman 3 on Super Nintendo, Super Bomberman 4 on Super Nintendo, and Atomic Punk for the Game Boy, which was Bomberman rebranded as a different brand to try to give it a different name. Yeah, those are all Bomberman games.
What's the best one?
Out of those 5, I definitely had the most fun with Super Bomberman. Ooh. 4, probably. 3, I was having fun and was pretty short, but the final boss was brutal. If you died to the final boss, you had to go through 10 stages to get back to him again. But Super Bomberman
That is
4,
nonsense.
yeah, but Super Bomberman 4 was like, if you died and you still had extra lives, you could at least, like, it would remember how many bosses, because in 3, you had to do 10 stages, then fight the final boss twice, and he could literally block any attack that you did to him, and he had bombs that he drops that bounced around randomly, so RNG could just get you killed, no matter what. You could be doing your best, and you would just get killed for no reason. In 4, you had to kill 6 bosses in a row to beat the game, but if you died, the game remembered where you were, and you didn't have to kill the other bosses that you already killed. So that was much more forgiving. I don't think I game overed at all in 4, and 3 was just like an hour was spent on just the final boss and the world because I had to keep redoing it over and over.
Well, congrats.
Yep.
What was the worst one?
The worst one, probably the original one, simply because it's the oldest out of the 5. But the first Bomberman game also had one of the coolest features where that you could find an icon around stage 31, I think it was. Called Fireproof, and literally it doesn't go away. You can just keep detonating bombs and lighting yourself on fire and killing every enemy around you. So like if you can kind of slog through halfway through the game, it becomes like an absolute joke and you breeze through the rest. Bomberman 2 had something similar to that too, but Bomberman 2 also had really tight time limits, and I kept losing due to time on a bunch of stages. But Atomic Punk also had this cool feature where you could just buy more items, and they were like semi-renewable resources you could give your character, but they had the worst gimmicks I've ever seen in any game. Imagine a game where the wind is randomly moving you on a grid. Like you can move up, down, left, right, and wind will randomly change and force you to move in a certain direction. And if you don't have enough speed ups, you can't fight the wind. So you can't drop bombs without getting trapped constantly and killing yourself. And that kept happening over and over to me. It sucked ass. I hated it. And then there was another stage where every block you had to destroy twice because they were thick ice. It was a slog to get through Atomic Punk at times. Oh, no. The worst stage in it was actually the final stage, where normally, you know how Bomberman is like a grid where it's got these little hard blocks in the middle you can't destroy. You just walk around them.
Mm-hmm.
Atomic Punk's final stage turns those into fire pillars, where if you walk into them, you die instantly.
Nice.
But the fireproof item does not stop it. So you are not fully fireproof, just your own fireproof. So I had to you have to carefully maneuver around the stages while you're chasing down these enemies. It it was not good. Was not a
Well,
fan
maybe
of
it's
that
a
one.
scenario where it's like, hey, it's fireproof, but like even stuff that we have that is fireproof would not survive the sun.
I guess.
So
I
there's
guess that
always
was the
something
point.
hotter out there.
I think the
That's
world was
just
even called like fire, like as like it was just a way of saying fire. Like that's the building you go in or something silly like that.
Fire Festival.
Yeah. So after all that Bomberman, I also played Bubble Bobble for the NES because we played it on
Nice.
Fortune Cookie one night, and I thought I had beaten the game, but my backlogger said I hadn't. So after the stream, I just sat down and beat the rest of the game.
Hell
That
yeah.
sure is Bubble Bobble. My least favorite feature about Bubble Bobble, the fact that you can't get the good ending of the game if you're playing by yourself. You literally need to beat the game with a friend. It was stupid.
That is
Hey,
stupid.
friendship, there you go. It's
That's
bubble and
that's it.
bobble.
That's
Yeah.
literally it. That they literally say the power of friendship is the only way you can get the true ending.
I mean,
Great.
some people it's just like how Nintendo forces you to have to trade Pokemon with other people to get all of them.
Oh yeah, everyone's favorite feature of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Scam.
Yeah. That is all I have played over these last 3 weeks, other than stream stuff, which I don't want. I figured this was long enough.
Okay. Paul, your list is equally long. What have you been playing?
I mean, I've been playing a lot I'm not talking about here, but the big one I want to talk about is Halo Infinite.
All right, I played a very little bit of it because it came out right before I left.
Yeah, it came out like the day before, right? Because you left on, maybe like 2 days before.
I think it came out 2 days before,
Yeah.
but all of Thursday was like Game Awards all evening, so I like barely got to touch it.
Yeah, fair enough. So I put about 15 hours in the first 2 days, and I've addicted to the game. I love it. I really like it a lot.
Are you playing just campaign, multiplayer?
Just campaign. I don't like the multiplayer in Halo.
Okay.
Yeah, that is Far Cry. That game.
I've heard it's very Ubisoft.
Yeah, so it's been a great podcast game. Like, I'll do the campaign stuff where there's story and like voice acting and things going on, listening to it, and it's dope. And then the open world stuff hits, and I throw on a podcast and just like take bases and find collectibles for 20 hours. I think I'm at 26 hours gameplay time now. And I have 4 main missions left.
Hookshot's pretty good, right?
Oh my god, it's so good. Getting around, yeah, it's super fun. And just pulling stuff to you to throw at people and stuff, like that hookshot is so good.
I haven't got to the open world part yet. That's how early I am.
Yeah, it's a little bit in there. It's about an hour and a half worth of like story content in there before you get to it. So it's pretty front heavy.
Then. Okay.
Yeah. I think there's 2 like major missions before the open world stuff. So you probably did the first one, I assume. And the second one's shorter feeling.
I'm definitely in the second one.
Okay.
And I played a bit, so I gotta be like right near the end or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, you meet like the main character of the game. Well, one of the main characters in the game in that area, and then it opens up. So as soon as you meet them, then you're fine.
Oh, there's a boss fight, right?
Yes, but I don't remember who it is. Oh, yeah, it's one of the dudes. It's one of the like big banished generals or whatever, I think, right?
And Master Chief's like, or the weapon is like, they call him blank, and Master Chief's like, not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just did that, and I'm on that elevator. So am I done? And now it's gonna open up?
I think I don't mind Weapon very much. She's definitely way more cheery and quirky than Cortana, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it kind of like really mixes well with Chiefs just being like, everything I say is literal and I can't joke at all.
Also, like, and again, I can only talk about the first like 90 minutes of it, but like half of his lines are just batteries. And the pilot's like, yo, we gotta get out of here, and he's just like, get the ship.
He definitely has more talking, but yeah, for overall, that's our chief. Just saying, like, I need a weapon.
Exactly. It's like, I need a gun, and then 2 different things of him saying batteries.
Yeah. Yeah, and people, like, freaking out or whatever around him, and he's just gonna be like, wait here. Or, like, just something, like, one line. Yeah, there's a lot of that. He does definitely have some story parts, but there's no chatty Cathy Master Chief in this, for sure. That's a lot of it. But yeah, this game is mostly just the stuff you would do in like a Far Cry game. You take over bases, and that unlocks like little objectives and stuff in that immediate area that you can check out and get like more of the story and what's going on or whatever. It's kind of cool that like if I had played Far Cry 6, I don't think I would be as into this because my open world like motivation for doing that shit would have been dried up, I think. I haven't played a game like this for a while now, so this is hitting at the perfect time for me, where I'm just super into it. And the movement in that game and the fighting and everything just feels so good. I think it's a really good way to do a Halo game because the gunfights and stuff are kind of the thing I like about Halo in the campaign stuff, like the different enemy types and how you kind of have to... Well, I'm playing on a harder difficulty. I don't know if on easy they're like you can just use whatever gun, but like I like playing legendary with buddies or whatever. But I'm playing on heroic right now because I also just wanted to kind of get it done for Game of the Year. And I like that in Halo games on harder difficulties, it forces you to kind of actually use different things in your arsenal or like throw away a weapon that's empty and pick up something you can get ammo for or whatever. And I think that the open world format is a really good way to just have a whole bunch of weird scenarios of different enemy types kind of like in this world that you have to take care of and liberate different parts of it and like save humanity and all that stuff. So I think it's a very, very cool game. The campaign is okay. It feels a little bit weird because all the campaign stuff is very much a Halo game where it's very corridor shooter heavy in a lot of spots, which kind of goes up against the, like, I've just been in the open world for like 20 hours doing literally anything I want with whatever I can find. And now I'm in this like really tight constricted like corridor area with a bunch of shit. And yeah, so that's kind of weird, but it's also a little bit liberating at some point to just be like, okay, I want to just focus on like, I want to play Halo again. So I'm going to go do a campaign mission because that's Halo. And then I'll come back to Far Cry after and like collect more audio logs or whatever.
I mean, that's basically how Gears 5 did it, except there wasn't a ton to do on the like open world part. It was mostly just go to the next area, and then it's gonna narrow down into a corridor shooter again.
Sure, yeah. I am at the point where I almost have nothing left to do. I have almost 100% completion. I think I have 20 audio logs left, and like the end of the game essentially. There's 14 missions. And I've done 10 of them, so I don't know how long the last 4 I have are, but those main story missions aren't necessarily short, so I think I still have a good chunk of game, but the open world stuff is kind of run dry at this point.
Are you missing the co-op campaign? Can you see yourself coming back to it when they add co-op?
If I had a buddy who's like, I really want to do this co-op on Legendary and I have nothing else on my plate, yeah, sure, I'll jump in for like a weekend or whatever, but I'm not gonna like sit with them and do 100% completion again and collectibles or whatever. Like I'll jump in to help them with story stuff. I don't think I'm not necessarily sure that this is true. I don't know that Legendary will even be as hard as the other Halos in this game, because one of the things that you do is you get bases and you can like unlock weapons that you can kind of just like take from your armory. So at some point, if you do enough of the side content and unlock that stuff, you will always have access to the best stuff that you want to use forever. So it's a little less difficult in some regards that way. Even though I think some of the campaign stuff, they're long enough that they kind of draw your weapon supply out and force you for that story part or whatever to use what they give you. But the open world stuff becomes much, much easier as you go. The hardest part of the game is definitely the beginning.
Right on, yeah. I think it's a really good product.
Yeah.
Great addition to Game Pass.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
I also think the multiplayer being free to play is such a great idea.
Yeah. So. Super solid product. I mean, other stuff I've been playing quickly. Forgotten City, a big thing happened.
Hell yeah.
I can't talk about why that game makes me excited yet because it's a huge spoiler, but people should play that game if you want a story-driven thing that is fucking phenomenal. It's so good.
Good game for sure. Yep.
I played through Parasite Eve 1 again because I'm going to finish 2,
Nice.
mainly because I want to play Third Birthday, which I never have. And I was thinking, oh, if I play Third Birthday, I should finally finish Parasite Eve 2 because I've never seen the ending of it. And I was like, well, it's Christmas time, so Parasite Eve 1 is a Christmas game, and I can knock that out in a day or two. So I did that, and yeah, the game's still great, and I'm a little... I don't know why I'm starting up games that I've played when I have about... I think I have about 6 more major games that I want to hit before Game of the Year.
Jeez.
I have probably like 20 things on like a pile of shame right now, but there's like 5 or 6 that I really want to get a good amount into before the end of the year talks, so I should probably focus on that more.
You and me both. Speaking of Game of the Year, I wanted to mention that our community Game of the Year survey is live.
Yes.
You can find a link to it somewhere on our Twitter or in the announcements section in the Discord. If you haven't filled that out, you should definitely fill out the survey. And if you don't know what that's about, we like to accumulate kind of everything our community camping, and then we'll kind of reveal the results at our Game of the Year episode, which will be sometime mid-January is where we've narrowed it down to so far.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be in the first week because of travel.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll pin it to our Twitter, like as the pinned tweet or whatever, later on.
I don't know. Our pinned tweet is like kind of good right now because it's all of our like links.
I mean, I could just repin that one after, though, you know?
Sure. Yep. So if that seems interesting to you, please go submit your answers for, your favorite games, your least favorite games. There's a whole bunch of categories you can fill out.
Yeah. I jumped back into Inscription to finish that off, and that game is crazy. That ending is really good.
It's weird. It's weird and dark.
Yep.
It's a weird game.
Yep. That's really all I've been doing, though.
Cool. I've been playing some mobile and Switch stuff since I haven't been home for a while. I tried out Rocket League Sideswipe, which is the mobile 2D Rocket League game.
Sure.
It's really good.
Oh, okay. Good.
Feels really good. Like controlling the car is snappy and like it just feels right. And people are like pulling off the weird tricks and stuff that you would expect. It doesn't feel like, oh man, I can't do what I would want to do. I can't move this car how I'm used to. You can do all the flips and everything you need to. It's just it happens to be a side-scrolling. Well, I shouldn't say side-scrolling. It's flat 2D, so you're moving left and right, and that's kind of all you can do. You can also go up and down and jump the car and boost the car, stuff like that as well. But the physics just feel really good. It is a good feeling game. It has like a free battle pass or whatever in there, so you're unlocking upgrades for your car, which are like all cosmetic. So that's fun to do. And there's, daily challenges and weekly challenges and all that stuff. I'm not actually sure how you can put money in the game, but I haven't really been looking for that because I don't want to.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, it's free, so I would definitely recommend checking it out. If you like the idea of car soccer and you liked Rocket League, this is, I think, a pretty great version of it, despite having touch controls. I've also found that the online is pretty good. I've had some bit of like some lag, but I'm just going to chop that up to like I was on hotel Wi-Fi. So I think it's totally fine. I also got Loop Hero because it came out on the Switch, and that's primarily what I've been playing in my downtime on the Switch.
Okay.
Loop Hero's real good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just like a clicker almost. Like it plays itself to some degree, and then you equip better equipment so that it clicks faster for you.
See, this is kind of why the idea of it on the Switch wasn't appealing to me, because I kind of like having it on my second monitor and like playing it when I need to play it, essentially.
Yeah, because the game does like pause itself after like every little thing that happens.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed having it on the Switch. Like, it is a really good game to have while you're like watching TV.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's like, oh, I've got like literally 5 seconds to do something here. Okay, cool. I equipped the new axe.
Sure.
Have fun doing your next thing. Finished chapter 1.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm into chapter 2.
Cool.
So I don't exactly know. I'm there's 5 chapters, I'm guessing.
It's hard to like even say where are you because you can like unlock different things as well. Like for your town, I guess is what I mean specifically.
Yeah.
And,
It
like,
has
how
the
far-
whole kind of rogue legacy. You're like building out a town.
Yeah.
That kind of adds to your runs and whatnot. So, yeah, good game. So yeah, I've been meaning to play that, and having it on the Switch is pretty great. The last thing I wanted to mention is a docu series I've been watching. That Xbox 6-part documentary came out
Okay.
last week. I've watched 5.5 of the 6 episodes, and which is funny because that 6th episode is my favorite one so far, and I haven't finished it. But this is called Power On. You can just find it on Xbox's YouTube channel. It's basically how they launched the Xbox, how they launched the Xbox 360, and then there's an episode all about the Red Ring of Death. It's how they launched it, and then there's a really then from there. I think like the second half of the series is my favorite because they tell the story of how they were basically on top. And then they completely botched the Xbox One's launch, and they even have Don Matrick coming back and talking about that, which is pretty cool.
Oh wow, I'm surprised by that.
They got him and they're interviewing him for the thing, so that's what episode 6 is all about, is kind of what happened with the Xbox One, and what happened with Don Matrick and kind of Phil. I'm about halfway through it, so it's kind of at the point where Phil Spencer has stepped in and he's starting to right the ship. Yeah, someone's saying anything about something Sony. They have previous head of Sony on there talking. Well, God, what is his name? Completely blanking. But they got the guy you would want from Sony in there to talk about
the Ridge Racer dude.
No. So from Sony America. He was at all the. Okay. He was at all the E3 press conferences.
Not Dave Perry. The British gentleman?
No. God, what is his? I just now need to look up his name. I'm not gonna open this microphone. Someone on the channel say it sooner or later, and then we're all gonna be like, "Oh, of course, that guy's name," because I'm just blanking on it right now. Yeah, they have him. I'm trying to think some of the other people they got. They got like. They have a lot of Kevin Pereira.
Sure. Okay.
They actually have Keeley because he shows up in everything that has video games on the name of it. And just a ton of people from all of Microsoft's kind of past that was important to this stuff. So if you like, YouTube channels like NoClip or documentary stuff, and you want to see kind of like literally they kind of tally the warts and all kind of Xbox's history, it's a really enjoyable watch. And they put out official posters, and you get a Red Ring of Death poster.
I saw those posters.
Yeah.
They actually look pretty good.
It was pretty funny. So again, that's a Power On. It's on Xbox's YouTube channel, and I definitely recommend it.
Cool.
Did you go to their website for their anniversary where you could look at all your stats from like 360 onwards?
The 20th, the museum that they set up around Thanksgiving? Yeah. Yes, I did. That was cool. And I liked that you could walk around. I liked that when you shared it, if you were in that museum, you would see your friends walking around. That was pretty cool.
Neat.
All right, with that said, let's do some news.
Nothing happened, right?
I don't know if you guys know this, but
nothing's happened since last time.
Game Awards happened last week.
Oh God, we have to learn who did the best on their prediction too. I just realized.
Yep, I have those.
It was me. We can just assume it was me. I was gonna go through like the news. Did you want to go through the categories first?
Hold on. Sean had 13 right. John had 12 right. I had 11 right.
Damn it!
I was right. I did win.
Damn it, by 1 too. Fuck.
When did you do this while you were watching it?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe what won Game of the Year. I'm genuinely surprised by that.
Yes. I was also very surprised by that. Okay, let's go through this quickly, because I have it already. The Game Awards by thing or whatever, and what we guessed. Esports events, we all just went Dota. It was League. We're dumb. It's always League. We should just always choose League. Esports coach was K Coma, which Sean and I just blindly guessed, and John guessed Eng or whatever. Esports team, we were all wrong with Spirit. It was Navi. Athlete, John was right with Simple. I was wrong with Simp, and Sean guessed Showmaker. Esports game, we all guessed Valorant. Oh, I didn't actually write down. No, it was Valorant, wasn't it? I didn't actually write this one down, apparently.
I actually did not watch the Game Awards, so I have no idea.
Okay, well, whatever. Most anticipated, we all guessed Elden Ring. We were correct. Best debut indie, we all guessed Valheim. It was Kena, Bridge of Spirits, which was interesting, but good for them. Content creator of the year, we guessed different people, but we were all wrong. It was Dream, even though he's a racist and had controversy.
Fucking hate that it was Dream of all people.
Yeah.
Okay, can I just pause you for a real quick sec? I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
look up which Sony CEO it was. It was Jack Tretton.
Jack Triton, yes, okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they got him on there for a bunch of the thing talking about their rivalry and milestones between the two consoles and stuff like that. That's super interesting.
That is interesting. Cool. Best multiplayer was It Takes Two. Sean guessed correctly. John had Monster Hunter Rise. I had Valheim. We were both wrong. Best sports / racing. We were all right with Forza Horizon 5. Best sim strategy. You two were right with Age of Empires 4. I just guessed Humankind, because why not? Best family. Me and Sean were right with It Takes Two. John guessed Mario Party.
I can't believe Nintendo lost their own category.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's
They have to put out a good game.
Oh shit. Oh no. Best fighting game, we were all right, because Guilty Gear was definitely the best fighting game out of those choices. Best role-playing game. Sean actually got this with Tales of Arise. Well, John and I just took guesses. He with Monster Hunter Rise, and I said Cyberpunk would get it. Best action / adventure game. Sean guessed Rift Apart. John and I were correct with Metroid Dread. Best action game. We all guessed Deathloop, because that's the correct thing, but we were all wrong. It was Returnal, which is interesting.
For them.
Best VR AR, Resident Evil 4. It wasn't even a question, and we got that right. Innovation and accessibility, you guys said Forza, I said The Veil. Forza got it. Best community support, we all said Final Fantasy 14, because of course, and it was right. Best ongoing was also Final Fantasy 14, which we guessed, because of course.
Yep.
Best mobile, you guys guessed Genshin, which was correct. I said Marvel Future Revolution, because that's the better game. Best indie game, you two guessed Inscription. I guessed Death's Door, and we were all wrong, because it was Kena, Bridge of Spirits, which...
What?
Yeah, I know. That's crazy to me, but sure, good for them. I'm not mad. I like that game, but wow. Games for Impact. We're all stupid, because Life is Strange. That was the obvious choice, but we all chose something different.
Well, because Life is Strange didn't win last year, didn't it? Like, it actually had a year where it didn't win, and we were like, oh, I guess Life is Strange's time is done.
Oh, maybe.
I thought that was the case. I might be misremembering.
Specifically, you guys chose Chiggery. I chose Boyfriend Dungeon. Best performance. You two said Jason Kelly. I said Giancarlo, because of the name recognition. We were all wrong. It was Maggie Robertson, because boobs trump everything.
Amen.
Best audio design. Sean said Returnal. John and I said Resident Evil Village, and we were all wrong, because Forza Horizon 5, apparently those cars are too good sounding. Best score in music. Sean said The Artful Escape, even though John and I were correct with Nier. Best art direction. This was Psychonauts 2's category that we all guessed, but we were all wrong, because apparently Deathloop was better art direction than the game that literally is art direction.
I mean, Deathloop's art direction is pretty good. I will give them that, but I don't think it was as good as Psychonauts. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
I heard Psychonauts got nothing, and that genuinely surprised me.
They didn't get anything, and it's actually a travesty.
So bad for Psychonauts. I'm very curious, kind of like what the rankings of these all were, because I have a feeling like
Yeah.
Psychonauts got like second place in everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird.
Another one that kind of threw me off because it's wrong. Best narrative, we all agree Deathloop definitely has the best narrative and device, even though we're wrong because Guardians of the Galaxy, apparently that talking was too much. Best game direction went to Deathloop, which I guessed correctly. Sean said It Takes Two. John said Psychonauts 2. This was a crapshoot. They were all amazing in game direction. And then Game of the Year, you two said Deathloop. I said Metroid Dread. We were all wrong because It Takes Two took it, making
incredible.
The third or fourth year in a row where the one that wins the best family game is also the Game of the Year or something like that.
Insane.
Can't be true, because like Last of Us 2 won it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, maybe like 2 years ago or something.
It must just be a run of like the past 2 years or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what last year's was.
So there you go.
Even was last year. What even came out last year?
Last
so long ago.
Absolutely nothing did. That's it. Nothing came out.
That's true.
There's a lot of elements of family in Last of Us 2.
Yeah, really surprised with our Psychonauts 2 not winning art direction and Deathloop not winning narrative. Those were the big shockers to me. Everything else was kind of a crapshoot.
Anyway, they did also have a bunch of announcements, and I have some of the stories here. Kind of talk about some of the big stuff. That Matrix Awakens thing unlocked. I started playing that today. I was hoping to talk about it, but then I had more travel bullshit happen to me, so I was on the phone, and you can't pause it. It won't let you pause. So I had to just let it keep running as I sat on the phone on hold for an hour.
Isn't this just like that movie scene done in Unreal? Isn't that what this is?
Oh, there is no, there's some interactive stuff.
I heard essentially it was it's like Enter the Matrix. Some people were comparing it to that. So people said it played just like Enter the Matrix levels.
Okay.
I mean, it's a tech demo for Unreal Engine 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think you should don't blow it out of proportion.
Well, no, I'm just saying that like literally like the dev that worked on one of the devs that worked on Enter the Matrix was like, yo, this looks like one of the levels I did.
Oh, sure. I could see that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna watch that thing when I have some more time. But anyways, that thing like unlocked for people to go check out if they want. Star Wars Eclipse was announced. That was the game from Quantic Dream that was rumored.
Yeah.
How did they give Quantic Dream a Star Wars license?
Yep.
How? Why? I don't understand.
Yeah. So we finally saw kind of nothing about what that game is. We saw just kind of a teaser trailer sort of thing of a bunch of characters existing.
Yeah. First video game set in the High Republic era of Star Wars. So that was a good looking trailer. I mean, everything looks real nice, and Quantic Dream makes good looking games, but there was a funny tweet, I think it was like from Jason Schreier, where Keighley came out and said something like how we do not accept harassment, yada yada. They didn't actually say Activision Blizzard's name.
Right.
Yeah. You could tell they were kind of pointing towards the Activision stuff. And then right after that they were like, and by the way, here is a trailer for a game from Quantic Dreams, another company with a ton of allegations against it.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Shit. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm nervous because it's going to be a survival horror game.
Oh, that's like not your genre at all.
The best genre out there. I'm excited. I
really like the Alan Wake, lore and whatnot, and it's like, and I'm pretty invested at this point, and it's like, I'm gonna have to play a survival horror game.
For what it's worth, survival horror games are usually less scary than just like plain horror.
Spooky. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet this is going to be spooky. I bet
yeah, probably.
Remedy can do some pretty spooky stuff.
They can definitely do
a
spooky.
Wonder Woman game? Sure, I guess.
Yeah, they had a like 3D render of her, and that's kind of it for that trailer, but Seems interesting.
Let's see. I'm going to kind of skip just like new trailers for games that we've seen a lot of. They showed us the first Halo series, TV series trailer. It was real short.
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
We got a big, long Hellblade 2 trailer that looked cool.
That looked very cool. I'm excited.
I'm like fighting some weird, like, giant baby man thing and lighting on fire. Like, excited for that game. That game looks so good.
Yeah, it really does.
Arc Raiders. I thought this trailer looked incredible.
This is one that was, if there was like a game of the show for me, this might be like on my top 3 of ones I want to see.
I think so as well. Top 3 for sure. Like, it looked so cool, and then it's like, hey, it's co-op, and there's like weird jump pads, and I just liked the song. I like that song, so like it was just like, this is just a good trailer. I'm enjoying this trailer.
Oh, that was the Where's My Mind cover, right? Was that one?
No, it's the song from Robin. I don't know the name of the song.
Okay.
Boy and the Robot?
No,
let's take a shot. I actually haven't watched the trailer.
Okay. Let's see, what else? Sonic Frontiers, an open world Sonic adventure looking like that.
That looked cool. Apparently it's being penned by one of the current comic book writers, which apparently got a lot of people excited.
Honestly, like, first time I've been interested in a Sonic game in a very long time.
I hope it's good, but I am not at all interested in it.
After that, they showed the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 trailer, in which we got to hear Knuckles' voice.
Yeah.
Idris Elba.
I love Idris Elba.
It looks cool. It looks better than the first one. I don't know.
Like, yeah, I don't know either, honestly. I don't know.
Knuckles seems cool, and he punched Sonic with like an energy blast.
Yeah.
But you just know it's just going to be the story. Like, they're going to fight each other, and then they're going to come together to fight Eggman.
Yeah, of course.
We already know exactly what this movie is. But yeah, we heard Tails' voice and everything as well. Sonic is still blue.
Yep, still blue.
Cuphead's The Delicious Last Course DLC got a release date, June 30th. That looks fantastic.
Oh, when they started showing this, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god. That is like June 30th. I was like, no! That's so far still. But yeah.
Hey, with our backlogs, we can make the games far off. That's fine. I got too much I'm playing right now.
I've been waiting for that stupid DLC for so long now. But yeah, that's fine.
Which DLC?
Cuphead.
Oh yeah, no, that's man.
It's so.
I love them, but it's like them and Silk Song are the two of like they're forever. I'm amazed it has a date.
I'm not convinced Silk Song even exists. I think that's just a marketing campaign for Hollow Knight.
You really think? Dude, I know we're jumping ahead here a little bit, but did you see that Nintendo did an indie direct on Wednesday, and because it wasn't there, Silk Song was trending?
Oh, really? I didn't know that. No, that's hilarious. Oh man.
I saw a rumor where it was going to show up, but I feel like I hear a rumor it's going to show up every single time.
Every time. Yeah. Did you know Nintendo's eventually going to release a more powerful Switch at some point for the past 3 years?
Yeah, man.
I mean, I hope they will. I would love a more powerful Switch. Got a Telltale Games announcement for a Expanse series, which I am right in the center of this Venn diagram. Like this is a game for Sean as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I am so confused what Telltale Games is. The last I had heard, they were working on The Wolf Among Us 2.
Yeah.
It was announced like 2 years ago or something. I think at the Game Awards as well. Haven't heard a thing about that, and now they're doing an Expanse game. What is this company?
So this is the company. This is all the people that came in to finish the licenses that were already out, right? From what I remember,
I think
these aren't the original Telltale employees.
It's not.
Which I saw some posts going around on Twitter, like someone asked like if they'd ever gotten paid like what the residuals and the remaining money from working at Telltale, and they just laughed and said no.
Dude,
So,
I saw so many people after this that like retweeting and liking stuff from like ex-Telltale people just saying, this is breaking my heart and I can't watch this. And I was just like, oh no, what the fuck?
That's
yeah.
Oh
messed
god.
up.
Yeah, I have no idea who they have as a part of this for sure.
Yeah.
I will also
no
say
idea.
it's being co-developed by Deck 9, which did Life is Strange 2 Colors, so it's another win for me.
That makes sense.
Like I would love to know more about what exactly is going on behind this game, and I want to champion it because I really like The Expanse.
Sure.
So we'll see. Plague Tale Requiem got a new trailer.
Oh, I want it so bad. I love that game. The first one, so I want it.
They announced a Dune 4X real-time strategy game. Sure. Not.
Yeah.
The Silent Hill creator
Slitterhead from his from Bokeh, his new studio. Dude, I'm so fucking excited for that. Real like Junji Ito type designs of just fucked up body horror. Holy shit, I'm so
thought
excited.
it looked a bit rough though.
Well, it didn't really show anything gameplay wise. It just showed like people with like their necks snapping back and teeth coming out and shit like that. So I don't know. I'm just excited that dude is still doing stuff. So I'm excited to see more.
I'm just scrolling through these. That Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate coming to PC. I think that came out today.
Oh yeah, today was a big day for gaming. Actually,
that's a secret. Every day is a big day for gaming.
Yeah, but not for Game Pass.
Let me put it this way: every day is a better day than the previous one for gaming.
Not always.
Yeah, unfortunately, not always. But not always for Game Pass. 10 games released today on Game Pass, and it's disgusting.
Warhammer Space Marine 2.
Oh my god, I lost my shit. I can't believe it. They did it.
I'm glad you're excited. This is just another Warhammer game, and there's always 5 of those being developed at any given moment, as far as I'm concerned.
Isn't Space Marine like the hack and slash one, like the God of War style one?
It is, yeah. And this one's focusing on a real major player in the Warhammer 40k universe called Captain Titus and the Ultramarines.
For you, Paul. Tunic got a release date, March 16th. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
People should just play Death's Door, though, if they really need some Zelda.
Totally. Everybody should play Death's Door.
Lord of the Rings Golem got a trailer, and Golem looks weird, and because he has giant eyes.
Yeah, he's creepy looking.
PUBG Battlegrounds is going free to play.
Yeah, I kind of thought it had already, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yes.
Thirsty Suitors. This was another highlight for me. This game looks very cool.
Bollywood Scott Pilgrim, essentially. Looks very cool.
Yeah, except you're like, playing the role of like Ramona Flowers, fighting her, like dance fighting her evil exes or whatever. Or I guess they weren't evil, but, her exes.
Yeah, it looks real cool. I can't wait to see more of that.
We got a Somerville trailer, which I thought looked great. Somerville is from Jump Ship Studios, who are ex-Playdead developers. Playdead doing a Limbo and Inside, and this looks very Limbo and Inside, but just kind of next evolution of that almost.
Yeah.
There's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre online multiplayer horror game announced, which to me just sounds like a Dead by Daylight like spinoff.
Yeah.
Is it done by the Friday the 13th devs? Because remember, that already had the exact same thing happen at some point, too.
Gun Interactive and Sumo Nottingham. I don't know what
remember.
I don't know what they've done either.
Sumo Digital, I assume, is just a spin-off of them, and they've done like a bunch of stuff like Sonic Team Racing and all that.
I think that was pretty much it for the big news. Yeah, if I had to make a top 3 of games I'm excited about, Alan Wake 2, Arc. I forget the name of it now.
Arc Knight? No, not Arc Knight. It's a different game.
Arc Raiders. And then it's like a tie between Hershey Suitors and Hellblade 2.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Hellblade 2.
A couple people were surprised. Absolutely zero announcements from Nintendo this year.
Yeah, that is a little odd.
Hmm.
I think, like,
Apparently one of them based on that reaction.
I didn't even notice. Yeah.
Because they got a new Pokemon coming out in a couple of weeks. I guess closer to a month at this point. They got a Advance Wars remake coming out around the same time. Okay, next news. We got some sales data on top mobile games for the year in terms of revenue. I just thought this was kind of interesting to see which mobile games made the most in 2021.
Cool.
At the top, it's PUBG Mobile.
Sure. Okay.
Honestly, it's kind of surprising, but it also makes sense. Fortnite's not on this list, but they got taken off of the app stores.
Yeah. Well, I think, aren't they back on Google now? Or are they still off of both? For some reason I thought they were back on Google.
Oh, this is actually really interesting because I was looking at this, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. But this does not include revenue from third-party Android stores in China and other regions, which is fucking crazy.
Oh, that's a huge market that's missing then.
Yeah. That's way different. Okay. Yes.
Well, go on. You seem like you're about to say something.
No, just that, like, I was looking at this, like, it seems like they're missing, like, some big things that we, like, Garena Free Fire is one of the biggest mobile games on Earth, and that's not here somehow, but it's not big where this was obviously getting stats from or whatever. I think this might be America's, which is more interesting to me, because, yeah.
So almost tied with PUBG is Honor of Kings. Never even heard of. And then followed by about half that is Genshin Impact. Roblox Coin Master? I've also never heard of. Pokemon Go, Candy Crush Saga, and Garena Free Fire. Weren't you just saying you didn't see that one?
Oh, yeah. That's really low. Interesting. Pokemon Go being up there. Good for them. Holy crap.
Especially during a pandemic. That's genuinely impressive.
Yeah.
Well, they were still selling those, like, passes to do, like, the special events and stuff during the pandemic. So they've been funding money. They know how it works. Speaking of money, I'm just going to read you this headline.
Okay.
That loads. Peter Molyneux's next game is a blockchain business sim featuring NFTs because the future sucks.
Yeah, this isn't surprising that it's Peter Molyneux for some reason to me, because he was kind of trying to do this before with that Goddess game or whatever.
Honestly, that's kind of the thing that's
I'll never forget Curiosity.
Like,
oh, maybe that's it. Yeah.
I haven't heard of Peter Molyneux in quite a while, and I guess this is what he's up to. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is just going to fall apart. We've been seeing a few NFT things getting announced in the last couple of weeks fall apart. Let me read you a part 2. I'm going to read you this headline. Peter Molyneux's next game has sold 40 million pounds in NFTs already.
Sure. So the secret to NFTs is that out of like 1,000 people, everyone hates them except for one person who has $50 billion in NFTs that he's trying to pawn off for more money. So that is all probably one or two dudes buying that.
I'm going to read you a couple excerpts from this article over on Rock, Paper, Shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Molyneux's 22 Can Studio have sold around 40 million pounds of NFTs for their blockchain business simulator Legacy before it's been released. Town management game has its own cryptocurrency, of course, and this weekend they sold NFTs of virtual land for real money. Hope for crypto land barons is that they would be able to earn back money from other players through in-game business partnerships.
Sure. So this exists in the real world already, where you can buy AR land in the real time, and then, like, if NFTs ever get big, people have to buy you to, like, advertise on that land or whatever. So he's just putting this in a game.
going to read you one more excerpt. So none of the game is even available to players. They've almost sold out of land NFTs. All the plots of land so far combined went for the equivalent of over 14,000 Ethereum, or around 40.5 million pounds in real money. The most expensive was a London plot, a limited edition of one at ancient, in brackets, artificial rarity, which sold for the equivalent of about 670,000 pounds.
We are in the wrong field.
We're in the worst timeline. And then I just see this one forum poster saying he's probably going to make more money off this than Fable.
Oh, fuck off.
Which is just crazy to think about, right? Because that's probably true.
I mean, without a doubt. Because he doesn't have to pay publishing rights to somebody. He probably has a smaller team. It's no doubt he's going to make more.
I hate this timeline.
Yeah, so, and let's just get all the NFT stuff out of the way. For this week, this is the NFT section. Stalker 2 is doing NFTs.
No, they posted today. They're not.
Well, that was going to be the part 2, so spoilers.
Sorry.
Anyway, I just thought that was weird that Stalker 2 of all games was getting into NFTs. But yes, they heard the complaints about it. The fan base of Stalker 2 seems like the most anti-NFT thing I could think of.
They are.
And yeah, so they pulled the plug on that, so they're not doing it. One of the responses was, I wonder if they did that because they realized they wouldn't be allowed on Steam. They put NFTs in their game.
It's not a bad point.
Interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
All right, this is a pretty big news story. This came from the week beforehand, so it's a bit old. Bloomberg Business Wire was reporting that Sony is planning a new subscription service codenamed Spartacus to take on Xbox Game Pass, being pitched as a 3-tier service that will merge PlayStation Now with PlayStation Plus. Highest tier could include PS1, 2, and PSP games. I'm surprised it took this long for them to start making a competitor, honestly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very curious how this goes, because I feel like they've got a lot of ground that they need to cover to get anywhere near Game Passes. What do you guys think?
I mean, if they release on PC, they're as good as Game Pass as far as I'm concerned. They don't have a lot of ground to cover with me there.
Man, could you imagine Sony just being like, here's all our PlayStation console exclusive stuff on PC suddenly?
It would be real good.
It'd be crazy.
They still would not be putting their big first-party titles on this product.
You don't think so?
I'm pretty sure that's what this article says.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I didn't read it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't read this specific article because I don't have a Bloomberg account or subscription.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure I was reading Kotaku's. Again, this is like 2 weeks old. But I think they're not going to be putting their big first-party titles on there. They still want you to pay the $70 for that. And I think that's already going to put them behind. I can't imagine. This is what I think is going to happen. It's going to be about as much like fan service as PlayStation Now currently has.
You think it's just that transported over essentially?
Yeah, maybe.
I think, well, because right now PlayStation Now, it launched as a streaming platform.
Mm-hmm.
That was not great, so it got a bad reputation. Then they started allowing people to download. So for all intents and purposes, it was already Game Pass. You could download these games that they were putting on there. But no one talks about PlayStation Now anywhere near as much as they talk about Game Pass. I think they're combining things together because they have a couple services and it's just messy to understand what exactly am I getting, because PlayStation Plus also gets you games.
Sure, yeah.
Xbox Game Pass, they with their Ultimate, they put gold into that. the point where I think it's actually hard to just get gold at this point. So, it makes sense that they're going that route as well. But I think that they're not going into it hard enough that they're not going to be able to, take enough out of Game Pass's way. That's what I'm seeing this, and it's going to end up being kind of the same like market share that PlayStation now has as, oh yeah, and I guess that thing is technically doable on PlayStation, but it's not as good. We'll see. The thing I've often heard is that Sony is not great with working with indies. I feel like indies is kind of help what makes Game Pass soar when they're in between big first party launches. So I think PlayStation has a lot of ground that they need to cover. And last news story is mostly just for me. They announced the next DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla that'll be coming out early next year. It's like a $40 expansion to Valhalla, which I hope means they're not putting out a full new Assassin's Creed for at least a year, because I can't do both of those.
Yeah.
But it's going to be called Dawn of Ragnarok. I will probably play that March 10th.
Makes sense.
No time for me to play some more Assassin's Creed for too long.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we do some questions? timeperspective@gmail.com is the email address if you want to send questions in. You can also do it at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. To read this one from Joey. What is a favorite funny moment in a game that is mostly funny for reasons outside of gameplay? For example, the moment in Portal 2 where GLaDOS says, "This is the part where you die." Wheatley says, "This is the part where you die." And the chapter title pops up saying, "This is the part where you die." You get an achievement titled, "This is the part where you die."
I forgot about that.
I don't remember this at all, but I feel like Asura's Wrath had some pretty good kind of achievement humor. Like right as soon as you punched a dude in the face, an achievement popped up right over top of his face, which was pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Any moments outside of the game? Anything coming to mind?
No, it's probably something achievement related as well, though. Some of those achievement names or puns or something sometimes get me laughing.
Yeah, probably something similar. I can't think of anything right now.
Okay.
I can't.
Move on.
Cody writes in, a recent shower thought of mine is how, as an adult, I find myself going from game to game, to game, not giving most of the games a chance to stick with me. I was thinking about it because with Game of the Year discussions going on, games from the beginning of the year are brought up, such as It Takes Two. I remember really loving that game at the time, but I feel the lasting appeal is lost when we immediately move on to the next game. So the question is, do you find it is hard for games to have lasting appeal? And do you think this affects the Game of the Year discussion for games released early in the year?
Absolutely.
It 100% affects games released early. Yeah.
Yeah, and that you see this in the movie industry as well, with all the Oscar kind of movies will come out in November, just in time to be considered for the Oscars.
Yep.
And you get a bit of that, but I feel like in games, but it's primarily more because that's the holiday shopping season. Can't imagine a lot of companies are we have to put it out in the fall so that people give us Game of the Year awards, because that usually doesn't it's not going to bring that give them a bigger check or anything like that.
Right.
But the holiday shopping season, for sure. Although in the last decade or so, I feel like more and more games are coming out early in the year that are bigger titles.
Yeah.
Like for the longest time, we didn't have anything coming out in February and stuff, and now that's like Far Cry had that slot for a while. I think Monster Hunter was coming out there pretty consistently.
Capcom loves the beginning of the year. Monster Hunter usually comes in January or February. Resident Evil comes in late March, early April. Yeah, Capcom likes the beginning.
I think a lot of developers kind of figured out Well, nothing was really coming out, so we could kind of take the loss, but also be the only game that someone's going to buy because there's nothing else to pick up right now. I feel like it's spread out a bit.
Also, it depends when their fiscal year ends. Some of them end in like April, so they get it in under the wire.
Sure.
Matthew writes in and says, if you were in a group of 1,000 people, what is something about your physical appearance you are sure no one else in the group would have?
There's nothing.
I think we're all just generic white dudes, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Can't think of...
Because, like, none of us have any, like, weird piercings or, like, tattoos or any of that.
I did in my hotel this weekend, when in the middle of the night I went to the bathroom, walked into a wall and cut my forehead open. So maybe that?
Well done.
Yeah.
Sure.
My rib cage is actually not perfectly straight. It is at a slight angle, but it was only noticeable when I was like much skinnier and didn't have as much weight on. So
okay, cool. Can you do anything cool because of that?
no, unfortunately, it just means if I look skinny enough, like my chest would look lopsided. That's about it.
Oh weird. Okay. No weird body stuff for you, Paul?
I mean, I have a scar on my... It's not even that visible anymore. Here, when I had a piercing ripped out when I was younger.
Oh, I was going to say, because I have a scar there from my surgery, so that's already discounting your close to the eye scar.
Sure.
VGC Kenny writes, if the fate of the world came down to you becoming an RPG main character or hero, what style of RPG would you like to be in? Who would you want to recruit to your party? Do you think that you could succeed? Note, you are imbued with power to be able to go on this RPG journey, but you only get 4 retries, plus 8 others by completing select side quests. Oh, this is getting intense. Also, you can revive fallen party members, but only with the necessary item, whatever that may be for you, which is fairly scarce and not for sale.
Okay, so...
assuming we can level up? Sure. Yeah, probably.
It's RPG.
My RPG has to be based around guns because I don't contain magic powers and I probably can't wield a sword, so...
I mean, it makes it sound like, yeah, like whatever you want to be. Sure, like, okay, you're the chosen wizard now. But you never had magic powers before, but now you do.
But now you do? Okay, sure.
It's true. Yeah, it's your 11th birthday, and
and
then
finally, congrats.
Your village got attacked, and you were the only one near the shrine where the maiden came out, and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna, you have to save the world."
Sure. Choose one of these 3 starter Pokemon sort of thing.
Yeah.
The Kingdom Hearts stained glass room, etc.
Man, that would be kind of
magic, but bad at defending.
It would be kind of weird to do like a real life Pokemon because that's literally just like dog fighting, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I think I would also just rather choose like a more traditional RPG than like a Pokemon one, because I want to. If I'm picking a more traditional RPG, then I get all these cool like powers and battles and sword fighting stuff that I get to do, as opposed to me yelling at an animal to do it.
All right. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. Healer?
Who would you recruit in your party?
Sassy robot.
I would definitely.
I mean, you gotta cover your basics. You gotta have the magic person. You gotta have the healer. You gotta have the snarky thief character that always gets you in trouble but ends up saving you in the end, anyways.
So what if you could cover those all with just like a rich YouTuber with unlimited money?
Rich YouTuber.
Jeff Bezos is my party member.
I'll pass.
Yeah, the world's over.
I cast
Fuck this guy.
Big Dick Rocket into space.
It does nothing.
I think if there'd be like any cool billionaire you would want, and I'm fine. That list is that's
pretty tiny.
It's very
zero
small.
so far. I haven't picked one yet. I do want to have a sword that's like my body size.
You want a Zweihander?
I don't know what that is, but like like a buster sword.
Two-handed sword, essentially. Big sword's usually two-handed sword.
Okay, yeah, sure. I don't want it to be slow. I never really like it when the big swords are slow.
So Devil May Cry style, then. Never mind.
Ah, sure. Yeah, there you go.
Or I guess Buster Sword, because of 7 Remake.
No, we don't succeed, by the way. My party fails at the very end. Or, like, goes home.
Oh, that's the worst. The feature refuses to change at the very end. That's the worst.
Yeah, exactly.
My party, we do really good, and then when we're at like the final area, I get bored of playing.
Yeah,
and for
you
some
give
reason,
up.
I just don't finish it.
Yeah.
And then I use it as an answer to podcast questions for the rest of my life. Of did you ever get to the end of a game and just not finish it for some reason?
It is kind of weird how often that question gets asked.
I make multiple saves on my memory card and load them up whenever I feel like I need to redo something over again, and obsess about min-maxing the entire game and don't enjoy the entire experience.
Dude, that's like a vibe for real.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's actually why I can't play some of those longer games that require you to do stuff, because I will just go back and waste like 10 hours doing something the wrong way.
Dude, that's why open world games always are like the worst for me, because I'm like, I could go to do the objective, or I could do literally everything else.
Let me tell you about Halo Infinite.
Oh god, dude, it's on my desk right now. It finally showed up, and I'm just like,
Yeah. All right. Lineback writes in, we've talked a lot of Simpson moments. What are your favorite Futurama moments?
Hell yeah.
It's about
Going to
time.
that show right now. Yep. I forget the name of the episode, but the one where Fry drinks 300 cups of coffee, or it's 100 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
Because he gets $300. That episode rocks. Anything with Zoidberg.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Tales of interest. Those are always good. Oh, did we lose Sean? I think we did.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's
I'm here.
Is he back? He's back. He's back.
I didn't lose you guys at all.
Weird. You stopped completely on my side.
Okay.
Audio and video.
It's very odd. I was gonna say the episode with the like medium people. What is that one? They're all gray.
Oh, I have no opinion one way or the other.
Yeah. I have no strong
Tell my
feelings.
wife I said hello.
Sean, I was going to ask,
That's a good line.
did you guys watch Jurassic Park?
Yeah, she just got mad.
That sounds about right.
Oh.
Yeah, that
She
sounds
was
about
like-
right.
She was like, "This show didn't deserve. It did not earn that."
Yeah.
I think I remember my favorite episode of Futurama, the one where everyone in the world loses their intelligence because of these giant brain aliens. So Fry has to save them because he's too stupid for them to take his power.
Yes.
That
And
was
they
very
they
good.
write like, I have to go now for some strange reason, and then they like fly away for no reason because they just like wrote a story. It was so dumb.
Episode where they visit the Slurm factory and learn what it's really made of.
That's a
and
good one too.
That's a
Slurms
great one.
McKenzie.
Slurms Mackenzie has to save them by partying because he's so tired of partying. He just takes his sunglasses off and his beet red eyes. I'm so tired of partying.
That's definitely one of my
So good.
favorites. Easily.
Show is so good.
Yeah, it was.
Suku writes in and says, why does money disappear in video games? Does it affect the economy? Make up a lore reason why. Well, the actual reason is because, RAM and stuff for the game. But in
Like
that,
why?
yeah.
Like when it flashes and disappears before you pick it up.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would have to affect the economy, right? Like you're just
Totally
making it more.
I mean, to be
scarce.
fair, how easy it is to get the money in the first place, I feel like it is. The economy's already pretty fucked up. Like, money's only safe if it's in your pocket or in a vault.
Right. Well, so what I'm thinking of is if it's disappearing, and which makes it more scarcer, which makes it more valuable, And maybe the reason it's disappearing is it's like the 1%ers have set up some kind of system. Their value keeps going up.
I was gonna say it's something like the streets are built to self clean, and so as a result, it destroys anything after a while, even money, if it's not moving at all, unless it's got like a secret material on it, like garbage cans.
So what about like an animal?
Oh, the animals can move. I said if they can't move, then yeah.
What if they don't?
I think they're allowed to sleep. I feel because like their guts and blood are moving inside, so it gives them the ability to stay alive from the self cleaning streets.
Okay, that's just like a very complicated system.
It really is.
Video games, baby.
That's true.
Money was everywhere otherwise. It was just littering the streets. They had to do something about it.
So then also, how is it removing the money? Is it just making like a hole?
It's disintegrating it.
Right.
Just like zapping it.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Hebrew 11. What was on your Rushmore comfort food?
Pizza, spaghetti, hot dogs, and French fries. Because it's got to be 4, right? Because Mount Rushmore's only has 4 heads on it, so.
Sure, yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, hang on. In Richie Rich, didn't they make a 5th one?
I mean, a bunch of times they've made a 5th one. I think even Team America made a 5th one, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do 4. My 4 chicken nuggets have to be on there.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, hot dogs are real good, but I just don't eat them that often as I used to. But I guess growing up, I've eaten so many hot dogs that it's just enough for my whole life. Hot dogs are on there.
Yeah.
At this point, maybe like chocolate milk.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, like I'm thinking like foods I used to love as a kid, like Kraft Dinner. Like that's like the quintessential.
I mean, you know, that's a good one up there too. And it's another one that I don't really eat much anymore, but as a kid, yeah, that would definitely be up there. What about you, Paul? What's your 4?
I mean, coffee's one of them. Hamburgers, like probably mashed potatoes. And like, I really just like corn, like a bowl of corn or something, or as a side.
Okay, like corn on the cob, or like.
Yeah, whatever way. Let's say like, I don't know, like niblets with like some salt and pepper or something, and butter.
Do you like baby corn? Because I hate it.
Yeah, I like all corn.
Oh, I hate baby corn.
Except candy corn. I actually fucking hate candy corn, which is
does that even count as corn?
No, but it has the word.
What about the band?
I loved corn growing up, but no.
Okay. Was corn the haze one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gaming is to me is a religion, and haze is the shit.
Haze is the shit. Yeah.
Frontman Jonathan Davis said in an article. Okay, Decoy Troy. Seeing as you're all adults with no children, do you ever pay attention to ESRB ratings when looking at new games? I know there have been a few occasions where a game I started playing had more gore or nudity than I was expecting, and I decided to check what it was actually rated. Never. I never look at it.
No, I don't think so. I feel like I look at it even less now that I'm playing like almost entirely digital. That it just barely pops up ever.
Rarely. Usually if I'm talking on stream about like what's in the game, sometimes I'll pay attention to the rating because we're like, how is this only a T-rated game? Or how is this E10? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then there's like the odd times, like certain stores I go to, no matter what, they'll card you for 18 plus games. Sure. So like I'll go to like Walmart and buy an M-rated game. They're like, I need to see your ID. I'm like, I'm 36. Like, I still need to see your ID. It's just part of the procedure.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've ever been carded for a game. I have to get my dad to pick up the game for me. I don't think I've ever been carded.
Is this mine? I think it is.
You got the last one.
Last one from Aelita. Best present you ever got as a kid for the holidays. Go. Ooh.
Holidays.
I know. A 13-inch CRT. and a Super Nintendo, so I could play it in my room.
Yeah, I got something similar. Well, I got the TV. We had the Super Nintendo.
Well, yeah, right. I think the Super Nintendo was my birthday, which was November, so yeah, that would be that. The TV.
All the big ones I'm thinking of were birthday presents. I'm trying to think what this was specifically a
Christmas one.
Christmas present.
Well, it says for the holidays. Birthday can be a holiday, I guess. You could consider it.
I mean, I don't get the day first. I've asked
multiple times, in fact.
Oh, you can have the day off too. I don't care.
Yeah, everybody can get it off.
Yeah, let's all take it off. Getting much HDT that might have been Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Sister and I both got HD TVs, like a small, like 19-inch one, at the same time, and the only way we could have done that would have been Christmas.
Right.
That was a big deal because it was like the first time I was gaming on an HD TV, and I literally remember like playing like Xbox Live Arcade games, just seeing the difference and just being like, I can see that entire ship, all the details in that ship. It's not blurry. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, I remember my jump for that was Dead Rising specifically. I couldn't read a fucking thing on that until I saw it on an HD TV.
Yep, Dead Rising and Metal Gear Solid 4 for me.
Sure, yep.
Right on. That's going to do it for questions. Again, if you want to send in questions for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
Halo Infinite.
Bomberman 4.
Okay.
Sure. Super Bomberman 4.
Once again, fill out our community game of the year survey before mid-January, so we have lots of answers to get a good results from that. This episode of TDP is live as of like almost 2 weeks ago at this point. Today will be the Spider-Man No Way Home episode, which I have tickets to go see tomorrow. I'm very excited. The reviews are stellar on that thing.
I still do not feel comfortable going in a theater, so I'm gonna have to wait, which sucks.
I don't think you'll wait long though.
Spoilers.
Yeah, no, I've already seen spoilers, so I'm fucked. So.
Well, I have not, so don't tell me anything.
I don't remember the spoilers. I'm too tired to remember.
Spider-Man's in it.
God damn it! I said no spoilers. Or Sean did, rather.
Yeah. Trying to think, are we doing an episode before Christmas, or is this the last one before Christmas?
No, we have one the week of Christmas.
Yeah, because Christmas on Saturday, so.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week for that one.
Everybody.